Do you want to crack TCS interview in 2025? Then hold on. This one video will save you from 3 months of your confusion, 17 random videos and 17 heart attacks. Today in this video, I'm going to explain the most important concept that you must do for TCS interview 2025. And also, I'm going to explain the frequently asked interview questions as well. So stay till the end of this video because at the end, I'm going to give you one secret tip on how to explain your project so that it can impress any interviewer. So I'm Pramod Bhosle, working in TCS for nearly 3 years. Just in case, if you are new to my channel, do subscribe to the channel for more such informative videos. Now, without any delay, let's crack your TCS interview. Object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is considered as a basic building block of any interview. So even if you're from non-CS background, make sure that you are preparing object-oriented programming really well. But the point is, most of the students prepare the object-oriented programming in a wrong way. Whenever the interviewer asks any questions related to the OPS, they mainly use us bookish definition that doesn't make any sense. So always make sure that whenever the interviewer asks you any questions regarding OPS, always try to explain them with real life example. But hold on, I know that most of the students don't know the real life example. So let's check out some real life examples related to the OPS concept. Polymorphism. So whenever the interviewer asks you any questions from polymorphism, always give the real life example like, when I go to home, I become a son, and when I go to college, I become a student, which means the single entity is acting differently in different scenarios. And this is what we call as polymorphism. Encapsulation. We know that the encapsulation is nothing but binding of data members and member function together to form a single class. So let's take a real life example like one big organization is made up of number of departments, like we got a production departments, testing departments, finance department. All these departments are clubbed together to form a single large organization. Abstraction. So let's take an example of abstractions like ATM machine. As a user, you can go to ATM and check balance, you can deposit cash, you can withdraw the cash, you can print the bills, etc. But the point is, we only know the main and necessary things of an ATM, but we don't know the details of the process, what is going behind the scene. And this is what we call as a abstraction, that it mainly showcases you necessary things and hide the details. Inheritance. So inheritance is nothing but the one class inherits the properties of other class. So let's take a real life example like we got a class called as a vehicle, which contains the common properties like color, speed, mileage, petrol or diesel. Now we can build a number of different cars which has common properties which is mentioned in our parent class, and simply we can inherit all these properties for the different cars which we are making. So always remember that whenever you are trying to answer any OPS concept, always give them a real life example and then tell them bookish definition, because this will create a big impact since you are trying to connect the technical terms with real life examples. Database. Database is considered as one of the most important subject for any interview. If I tell you about my TCS digital interview, 47 minutes of interview was based on database. So from this, you might have guessed how important this subject is. But most students get confused what are the most important things we need to prepare from database. So let's discuss the important subtopics that you need to prepare from database. Normalization. Normalization is one of the most frequently asked topic whenever it comes to the database interviews. So you need to prepare really well. Prepare the questions from normalizations like what is meant by normalization, why do we need normalizations. Also make sure that you are preparing the anomalies that we need to eliminate with the help of normalization. And most importantly, prepare the types of normalization like 1NF, 2NF, BCNF and 3NF. Also make sure that we need to be thoroughly good with the help of types of normalization, since there are high chances of getting a questions like tell me the difference between each type of normalization. Apart from this, prepare the topics like acid properties, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. Different types of keys like primary key, candidate key, foreign key and unique key. Also make sure that you are preparing the difference between each key as well. Lastly and the most importantly, joins. Joins are considered as one of the most important subtopics whenever it comes to the database, not only for TCS interview but for any interviews. So we need to prepare it thoroughly well. So make sure that you don't skip database since it is important for any interviews. Data structures and algorithm. Tell me, is there any company who don't even ask question from data structures and algorithm? Data structures and algorithm is one of the most widely used and commonly asked subject whenever it comes to the interview. But hold on, if you're preparing for service-based companies, you don't need to prepare prepare whole data structures. In this video, I'm going to tell you which are the most important data structure you need to prepare for TCS interviews. We know that our data structure is classified into two types, that is linear data structures and non-linear data structures. So let's discuss each data structure in detail. Linear data structures. We know that the data structures like stack, queue, linked list and arrays comes under the category of linear data structure. So whenever it comes to the linear data structure, make sure that first of all you understand the theory. Once you are done with the theory part, go and implement each data structure, since there are high chances of getting questions like complete the function to implement any data structure. And now once you are clear with the theory part and the implementation part, here comes the most important part of any data structure, and that is applications of each data structure. Make sure that you know applications of each and every single data structure, whether it is linear data structure or non-linear data structure. Now let's discuss the non-linear data structure. Non-linear data structures are little bit complex as compared to the linear data structures, but hold on guys, you don't need to prepare non-linear data structure in depth. We don't need to prepare from coding point of view, but we need to make sure that we are really good prepared with the terminologies of these data structures. You can get a questions like what do you mean by tree, what is meant by a graph, what is leaf node, what is siblings, height of a tree and depth of the tree. So make sure that you get the terminologies of both tree and graph data structures as well. So these are the most important subtopics we need to prepare from data structure to subject. Now here is a bonus tip for you. In the bonus tip, I'm going to answer the two important questions whenever it comes to the interview. That is how to mention the project on your resume, and second and the most important part, how to explain your project to the interviewer so that he can easily get impressed. Let's first discuss how to mention the project on your resume. Whenever you're trying to mention the project on your resume, make sure that first of all you put the title of your project in a bold font, and then try to explain your project in 3 to 4 lines, whatever you have done. But hold on, whenever you're trying to mention information related to your project, mention your information in this fashion: what you have done, how you have done, what was your result. When you try to mention these things, it will create an impression to the interviewer. And finally, mention the technology you use to implement that to your project. Now let's check out the most important questions: how to explain your project to the interviewer. So whenever you are trying to explain the project to the interviewer, most students feel complicated to explain their project, and finally they end up getting messed up. But hold on, I will tell you the most important 4 things that you need to keep in mind while explaining your project to the interviewer. And these 4 points are: what is your problem, how did you solve that problem, which technology you used to solve that problem, and what was your role. Make sure that you mention your role at the end so that you can get the questions only related to your role rather than getting the questions on your whole project. And now you are really prepared with your interview and how to explain your project so that it can help us to impress any interviewer. So just in case if you found this video really helpful, please like this video and share this video with your friend who is preparing for TCS interview. And just in case if you found our channel really helpful to boost your interview journey, don't forget to subscribe the Runtime here.